listening to the QI Podcast. Questions, debates, and conversations on trending topics.
Good afternoon and welcome to the QI Podcast. I am one of your hosts, DJ 10th Power.
And I'm your host, DJ Duce, and this is episode 6, and we are officially back in the Lion's Den, face to face. How's everyone doing,
sir.
bro? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Healthy, living.
Yeah. You look great.
You look great. And just, we need positivity, I think, in a time of such negativity. And just so much has been going on since we've last been physically together, and obviously we've done podcasts. Wow.
Yeah. We're in a critical state in America right now.
Very
it's
critical.
State of emergency. Everything is bad.
Everything's going downhill.
And I think the thing for me is, even in this madness of what's going on, you do see some unity happening at these rallies, at these protests. You see young people, you see old people, you see every race, creed, and color. You see Caucasians, you see blacks, you see Native Americans, you see Asians. And to me, given the unfortunate situation, I think that's the silver lining in it. Is that you have people that are united targeting one agenda or two agendas. Right. So, you know, that's the one thing I do take away from this that I'm happy to see. I'm just not happy, of course, the reason behind the protest.
I mean, like I said, we went from virus to racism in 24 hours. Like, social media, I think, and this is just my perspective, I think social media has a lot of influence now in today's day and age.
I agree with you.
Because back 20, 30 years ago, could we have made that switch in such a quick amount of time? Because literally, you know, every day I go on Twitter and like check the headlines.
Right.
I see you on there.
Yep.
First thing that pops up is anything Trump related. You are on there.
Yep.
You are at him. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Oh my.
Gotta let him have it.
Faithfully every time. But I go on there and I seen trends and I seen what's going on, and literally it was 24 hours, no lie. We went from virus all to the George Floyd, racism, everything, complete switch. That wouldn't happen 30 years ago. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree with you, but you know, and it's not just social media. Think of technology. I mean, we wouldn't have seen what happened to George Floyd, say 30 years ago, had it not been for technology and what cell phones are able to do or capable of doing now. Do you seriously believe that those officers would use their body cam and show us what they were doing?
No, absolutely not.
So
I do think, now in comparison to like the Rodney King riots back in the 90s and today, I say that the protests today are a lot lighter than back then. And because I see a lot of people, or just a lot of speculation that these riots are bad. Do I know what's happening in every state and every city? No, but just what I depict in the pieces that I find, like on media, on TV, nothing compared to the 90 Rodney King riot. I mean, the whole city of LA was on fire.
Yeah, in that comparison, I would have to agree with you. But the amount of protests that we have had is worldwide.
Right.
And that's the good thing that I've seen, whether it be London, whether it be Belgium, whether it be the Netherlands, France, Paris, every place you have these protests going on. So this clearly touched a nerve to where it went beyond of what, I mean, the Rodney King thing was bad. And the fact that those officers walked, that was totally bad.
Right.
And I think this is proof positive when you add George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and everybody before that and since that, because we got the Rayshard Brooks killing, you know.
It's a laundry list.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
It's just a giant list, and it keeps getting bigger by the day.
How did they not expect the people to finally say, we're sick of this? If this didn't happen now, it was going to happen evidently. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I was thinking on this heavily and how I wanted to word it and everything before I actually got here. It was evident for it to happen, but I think it's happening at the wrong time. I would have liked to seen this happen sooner in our timeline now. Because just think about it. We have this going on. We have the virus going on. We have Trump running around like a nut going on. We have, I mean, Wolf, I have a lot to say about Wolf. Don't get me started on him. But just a lot going on, and this is the last thing I think we needed.
Yeah, you know
At this
who
time.
I want to blast off on? I want to blast off on Candace Owens. So
I will leave that to you. I did watch and research a little what you sent me. I'll leave that to you.
I'm just, but getting back.
But I am familiar with her, and familiar with who she is and her work before all this. So
I wish I wasn't. I'm as much as Trump disgusts me, she disgusts me just as much. She disgusts me just as much. William Barr disgusts me just as much. These are people that I have to pray to not hate. And talking to people that I know, that I call friends, they hate Trump just as much. And they say the same thing that I say. I've never hated a president before. You may disagree with policies, but it's just downright hate. And why? Because he pulls that out of you. He actually thrives off that. He wants that. So this is why he sows the seeds that he does, right? That's why he's in Tulsa during Juneteenth. That's not a mistake. He's got Stephen Miller, a known racist, writing his speeches. So this is why he comes off the way he does. This is why they pick what they pick to do when they do what they do. This is no surprise.
No.
Given the years that we've followed Trump and, all the way back to his dad's a known racist. So this comes as no surprise. I'm not surprised that he chose Juneteenth. I'm not surprised that he chose Tulsa. And, he wants to go and post and say, anybody who assaults a looter or whatever, I'll help pay for, your court costs or whatever. Didn't he say the same thing when he was running for the office and he paid for nobody?
I know, and that's where I'm just like, you know what, you're a kook.
and
because he contradicts himself all the time.
All the time, he's a walking lying contradiction.
Yep.
And his sons, jeez, man. You want your children to be better than you. You want your children to be smarter than you. You don't want your children to make the same mistakes that you do. But they're right on his path.
Right.
They're right on his path and just as stupid.
Money is the root of all evil. Can we agree to that?
Yeah, we can definitely agree to that. Money changes everything. But, but there's a lot of people out there with money that do good with money also.
I agree.
So
yes.
It still comes down to your character.
Right, and who you socialize with.
Yeah, true.
Birds of a feather flock together.
I totally agree with you on that. Yes, the people that support Trump, Kayleigh McEnany or whatever her name is, his new White House press speaker or whatever she is, her credibility is shot. And everybody who sat in that desk to give these press briefings, you all disgust me. Because you sit up there and you lie to your public and you're lying. But, you want to push a certain agenda. You can't push that agenda without lying?
Well, art of deception. So.
But they're not fooling anybody. That's the whole thing.
Right. Well, people are waking up.
Supporters.
Right. Well, this is a different time, day, and age. People are actually waking up slowly and seeing things for what they truly are. As to 40, 50 years ago, it was, like I said, different time. So. It's just, what a timeline.
But why do people want to be lied to? Why do you think that is? Why do you think his supporters believe? There was a lady being interviewed by, that's a Trump supporter, by a CNN news person. And they asked her, do you think Biden is a socialist? And she said, absolutely, he's a socialist. And so they asked her, what is a socialist? She couldn't even answer what the socialist what a socialist is. Not even in her own opinion what a socialist is. She just didn't know.
So she didn't know.
So you're calling somebody something and you don't even know what it is. You don't even know what it stands for. Oh, he's rich and he thinks he's all that. And she actually said that. Isn't Trump the same way?
Right.
I mean, and Biden is $1.5 million rich. On my and your standards, that's rich to us. I mean, if we had 1.5 million, we would be rich.
Right.
That's not Donald Trump rich, right?
No,
so come on.
No, that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the day, right there. You know.
So it's like, come on, lady.
Right.
I mean, know what you're talking about. If you're going to go to these rallies and you're going to get asked questions and you have a microphone in front of you, know what you're talking about.
Right. Let's switch gears real quick. You know,
Sure.
Obviously, I'm not the politician guy. Never been into politics whatsoever. I don't like Trump, nor do I like Wolf. I don't like what Wolf's doing. I think everything as far as Pennsylvania has been handled has been it's just been nuts. The whole mask thing.
How were you about him up into the virus? I liked what he was doing for the schools. I liked some of the policies that I was actually hoping he would get in.
I was split on him. I was really split, but this really tipped me over to like
the virus.
Yep.
How he handled it.
Yep.
What would you have done differently?
If I would have been, well, first of all, if I would have been in a position of power, first and foremost, we need clear data. I don't think we have clear data. Do I ever think we'll get clear data? No. I don't think the numbers are accurate whatsoever. Don't know what to believe. You got to be your own person, obviously, to speculate and do your own research and make an assumption. So that's where it really starts with, the numbers.
Okay.
We got to first figure out if we have a problem or not. Obviously, we know this is a virus and it's a real virus. Okay. Is the virus a pandemic? In my eyesight, no, never has been.
So you don't think he should have ever shut down anything?
Not at the magnitude he did, no. Because of the economic damage that we have caused. And obviously...
how many dead bodies would it have taken for you to shut down?
Well, how many dead bodies were killed from him putting the elderly into the homes?
How many bodies? I didn't hear that.
How many people died willingly after he put them into the elderly back into the homes after knowing that this virus was real and was in these homes?
Well, that I don't know.
Yes.
But that doesn't really answer my question either. How many bodies would it have taken for you to take action?
So you figure population on the Earth is 455 billion as of 2019.
Are we talking about Earth or are we talking about Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania's population I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
You want me to get a number on that?
No. I just want to know how many bodies would it have taken for you to say, I got to think of a shutdown or some other recourse?
If I was in position of power, first and foremost, research, common sense, and just general knowledge. Who's getting the virus? The majority of the people. Who's getting the virus? Why are they getting this virus? You know, that's the first two main questions I would ask and want to know.
So you're talking about trackers off the jump.
Right. Now, define trackers.
Well, what they do, like, okay, today's news was 6 of Trump's team, advanced team in Tulsa, have tested positive. So now they're going to track them, which means where have they been prior to this and who has been around them, so they can be told that these 6 people have tested positive. So they could track where those people have been, and that's how they're tracking it.
Have they been already? Has it been brewing up to that though? Like with the phones and just everything that has been advancing?
but the tracking thing what is that? They've been talking about the tracking thing for maybe not until the month of top of May, maybe the end of April. They started talking about tracking. So it still brings me, but we're not even at that point yet.
Right.
We're talking about you in office and saying, does it take 50,000 people to die for you to say we got to do something?
I don't know the magical number.
Because at that point, you're still saying that you wouldn't have shut down the city.
It's tough predicament. What is the magical number, if that's what you're asking?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So now you already know he's already in a tough position because he doesn't know. And then if he doesn't have the testing equipment that he needed, which he didn't get from the federal government, and then the federal government says you're all on your own, so now they have to fight other states and other, for the equipment.
Right.
So it's not entirely Mr. Wolf's fault when you look at it from that perspective.
I think the gun was just jumped too quickly. It was taken more seriously as a threat before we known too much information. Which, I mean, precaution, obviously as humans we're always precautionary.
Right.
But I think sometimes that can come back and bite us. We were too precautionary when we should have hadn't been precautionary. Now we're going to pay for it in the long run, I believe. Virus, though, is still out there. I don't know what's going to happen next.
I kind of disagree with where you position with that. I think that if we didn't take early precaution, we would have had more deaths. We would have had more bodies. We would have had more people. I don't think asking somebody to wear a mask and gloves is all that difficult. And yet you have people that didn't want to do that. And that's a problem for me. I remember when my wife would get at the top of early on in this virus, we decided we were going to wear masks. And we both were getting dirty looks from people. Like, if you don't have it, why are you wearing a mask? Because I still want to protect myself. What is it to
right,
you?
and that's what I was on Facebook today, and I posted something on the mayor's, he commented something, and I commented something about, it's my choice personally that I do not want to wear a mask, and
Right.
that's my freedom as a United States citizen. Mm-hmm. Why can't we just leave it at that? Mm-hmm. You know, if you feel comfortable and you don't want to wear a mask, great. If you don't want to wear a mask, great. If you want to do this, great. You know what I mean? That's an individual choice as Americans.
I don't have a problem
freedom.
with people that don't want to mask. Just don't give me no dirty look like you have a problem that I want to wear a mask. Just like it's your freedom, your right to not wear one. It's my freedom to wear one. I don't see what the problem is, and yet people had a problem.
Well,
with
the problem, I think, and the problem for me personally is when I'm being told I have to. Like down at work, for example. I'll give you a prime example. Down at my job, we were doing sanitation wipe downs because of the virus every hour to 2 hours. We stop our lines. I'm at a chocolate factory. So we stop our lines, wipe everything down, and then restart back up. Well, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, that has completely stopped. We're not going around wiping door handles down anymore. We're not doing no sanitation whatsoever anymore in the entire building. But yet we're still wearing masks? Doesn't make sense to me. I'm like so lost.
You know what? Because of the fact that my thinking is different. Because of the fact that they're no longer doing sanitation wipe downs, I would want to wear the mask. That would be the alarm for me that, okay, they're not going to do this, so I have to protect myself. That's how I would look at it. At my job, we are still wiping everything down, from the bathrooms to the doorknobs.
Well, that's
Everybody
a split.
that
That's a
enters the
split thing.
building
Even
gets their temperature done. We're doing it all.
that's even a. I mean, for me, that's even a split thing in my own mentality and my own mental thinking and all that, because we're supposed to have a certain amount of germs. So actually, being too clean is harming us in a way. If we're too clean, and that's a fact. I mean, research it.
I've heard this before. I'd rather just be too clean, bro. I'd rather be safe than sorry, you know.
And again, that's a personal choice that I think everyone should have, you know. And I met people like that to this day, like OCD people, clean freaks. I mean, and
that's me. That's me. I won't say I'm OCD.
No, you're not
but
OCD.
I'm definitely, you know.
You definitely
when
like.
I got up this morning, I'm hitting my floors and, you know, I'm
Right.
dusting, you know. But I just like a clean house.
And exactly, and but this is before all that, you know what I mean? That's just your everyday lifestyle.
Yeah, that's me, period.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you want to wear a mask, by all means, wear a mask. But me, I'm good. I do not need a mask. I'm healthy.
But this can't be your only issue with Wolf. This can't
all
be
the people,
issue.
all the people.
Because from what I can see so far, unless you have more examples, the way he handled the virus, that is, you know, nobody was prepared for it. No mayor, no governor, nobody was prepared for it. So it's how you handle it after that. And I think some people handle it good, and some okay, and some not so good.
So let me flip the question on you since you asked me that. So say you were in position of power. What would be the magic number for you? Or you don't know either?
I don't want anybody dead, personally. So if I had, first of all, if I'm Trump, right, and I get this information, actually, scratch that. I don't want to be Trump. If I'm the president and that information comes to me, at that time, it was well known that Obama had a book or established something there that could have been used as a blueprint for how he handled Ebola. So that I'm executing off the top.
That I know nothing about. What exactly was that blueprint? Is that public knowledge?
It's public knowledge. Not only is it public knowledge, because I believe it was Susan Rice that put it out there, but look how many deaths he had with the Ebola. It was supposed to be a crisis, and he stomped a mud hole in it.
Right. I would like to see that blueprint. I didn't know that existed. Check that out. So there was a blueprint in place,
Oh, yeah.
and he didn't want to follow the blueprint.
He didn't want to have the. First of all, keep it.
Well, obviously, he don't want to.
He didn't want to deal with scientists. He didn't want to deal with none of that.
Well,
stuff.
Trump wants to do it his way.
Right. It's one thing to do it your way, but at least listen to what you're being told and execute from there. And he just didn't. What was he saying at the first meetings he was having? Oh, this will be over once it gets warm, was what he was saying. We're going to stomp this out, and we'll have a vaccine and all. None of what he said is true. People are still dying, and they stopped having the press conferences. On top of that, Congress wanted Fauci to testify before him. The White House has blocked that. What do you got to hide? What do you got to hide, man?
What a storyline.
What you want to hide is you don't want people scared to come out to your rallies. So it's exactly what John Bolton said, but a day late and a dollar short. And it's about him and his reelection campaign. You saw, I don't know if you saw what I tweeted this morning, right?
Right, that's where
Trump to his public. Come to my rally. I don't care if you catch this or not and die. Just don't sue me, please. I'm more important than my life is more important than you. That's what he's saying.
So what do you think is going to happen at the rally? Do you think it's going to be a spread, or do you think nothing's going to happen?
There's increases in Tulsa, Oklahoma already. So, whether it's from the protests, whether it's from this rally, it's going to happen. They're already spiking. Florida's already spiking. Texas is already spiking. These are states that actually have to revert back to the shutdown. And if they don't, just line up the body bags. That's a stupid governor that you have in Florida. He's an idiot.
Florida governor. I'm trying to think, who's Florida governor?
I can't even remember his name. I can't even remember his name. He's Republican. He's an idiot. That's how I look at it.
I mean, like I said, numbers. It all comes down to the numbers. And
any other president would have did this differently than Trump. Any president. Any. You can't. I know you're not going to dispute that.
Yeah.
He handled the situation wrong. There's not. You get any of the Senate behind closed doors. They'll tell you that to your face.
Here's something.
They won't put it on record.
Here's something we can agree on. How many people are on unemployment right now? 44 plus million, I think?
I'm not even sure.
Let's just say that's a statistic.
Okay.
So right now we're dealing with the issue at my job. I don't know what's going on, and we can't get nobody to come in and work for the simple fact is everyone's on unemployment right now, making roughly $2,800 a month sitting at home.
I love my job. We haven't anybody that's been quarantined for a couple of weeks or what have you is still getting paid their full paycheck. And
you got a good company, that's taking care of the people.
But he's always been pro-employee.
Which is good.
Yeah, I'm blessed to have that job. I'll put it to you, like that. I'm blessed to have that job, and I think the whole thing about the shutdown that I don't like is that many people lost their jobs. I don't like the fact. I understand that they had to do a stimulus. I don't like the fact that people are to the point where, you know what, I'll get more on unemployment than I will coming in and working. Exactly.
That's the mindset going on right now. And can we honestly be mad at that? Could I be mad at that?
I understand it when you have to pay bills, but is it for some people I know it's truly about their bills, and I get it. People have mortgages, they have rent, they have this and they have that. Some people are just lazy.
That is true. So you get those kind of people in there to abuse the system, which I would say it's pretty up there. I don't want to say half, but it might be a little close to half.
I read about a business. I can't remember what state it was in, but the lady fought to get the loan for her business that she owned, so she could save her employees and bring them back to work. Mm-hmm. They actually got mad at her for bringing them back to work and paying them because they were making more money on unemployment. And I'm thinking, I busted my butt to save your job, and you rather had stayed on unemployment?
Right.
I mean, 2 years from now, you'll still have a job.
Right. Well, that's just
Where are your priorities?
weird thinking, in my opinion. Target offering $14 an hour is not helping. Target's willing to. That's starting July 1st, by the way. So Target's paying $14 an hour to new employees starting July 1st. I would make more going to Target now, and I have a pretty good. I mean, I make pretty good money where I'm at. So guess what range I'm in for me to want to go to Target?
You know, first of all, do we agree that minimum should be 15
In Pennsylvania.
everywhere?
So you're saying
When you think about
a
cost of
national
living,
increase. Here's the thing. Yes, I do agree, but that's not how it works. And if you research it, everything comes up with it. So what happens is every time we up it, everything else ups with it. So we level right back out and we're back to square one. Because, okay, I'm giving you $15 an hour now. Grocery bills going up because now everything at the grocery store is going up because, hey, they increased the price of wages. We had to increase the price of the cost of the food to match.
but the price of food went up anyway because of the virus. Have you seen what it costs now to buy meat? Have you seen what it costs now to buy toilet paper? Prices are already up.
Meat's cheaper at your local market.
I haven't seen where meat is cheaper. And if you, I remember as when this virus first started out, I won't even say then, we were waist deep in the virus. This was literally 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was pumping gas for $1.80, and now it's up to $2.45. Why?
Welcome to Pennsylvania. We have the 5th highest tax in the United States as far as gas.
It's ridiculous.
Yes. Kentucky, I think it's back in March, somewhere in March, they hit below 99 cents, like the first time since the 60s or 50s. That's amazing.
I saw Reuters in 1 week go from 185 to 215 in the span of 1 week. They went from 185 to 199 to 204 a day later. And then by the end of that week, it was up to 215, and now they're at 235.
And that's all tax. I think we pay 60% of our gas is a tax. I'm pretty sure. So it's all tax, bro. All tax.
It's all bullshit.
All bullshit.
we don't need to have gas prices that high.
No, not where everywhere in the country is dipping. I mean, the 5th highest, California, I think was California. We were at 2 something. They were at 3 going to 4.
And what do we hear at the end of the year or at the top of 2021? How all of these investors in Texaco and Shell and all of these investors make off with all of this money because of how much we're being charged to pay in gas and oil prices.
Well, here's what I don't get. Oil prices back in, I believe, in the beginning of April hit the lowest in history. Toilet paper was more expensive than oil. So obviously now we can clearly see it's tax because the oil's not $1.50 a barrel. So why are our prices still the same?
Why isn't our president, our beloved president, wanted the prices of gas to go up? He fought for them to go up.
More
Why
tax.
is that?
More tax money. More tax. It all back to money again.
And this pill that he was a hydrochloroquine or whatever the hell it is, he's invested in it. That's why he wanted everybody to be taking this pill. He's invested in a company that makes these pills.
Wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't.
I keep telling people, it's always going to be about him. It's always going to be about him. And John Bolton's saying it in his book. And if any other person, Mattis has said it, Rex Tillerson has said it. It's not about America.
No.
He doesn't give a shit about America.
No. Well, it's become like a business now.
Well, that's what he wants. I mean, he's a so-called businessman, right? Right. Bankrupted 4 businesses, but he's a great, talented businessman.
Well, bankrupting the country now.
How are you gonna? This is where I'm confused about his supporters and how he runs his administration. When they're in your administration, I don't hear you say a bad thing about Bolton. I didn't hear you say a bad thing about Mattis. I didn't hear you say a bad thing about anybody that has left your camp. As soon as they leave and say something against you, he has a blueprint for it. It's almost like he's reading from a card. They're a liar. They're this. They're that. They're this. Well, why are you hiring them then? Like the reporter asked him, why are they in your administration?
Right, if you're selecting these people to
Yeah,
work for
you're
you.
the one that's selecting them. So are you the idiot?
Maybe he's playing apprentice. And that's the same thing he was doing on the show, right? Hiring and firing people. It almost seems
Is
like...
that how you run a country?
Apparently he thinks it is. Maybe it's just a giant TV show to him or something.
But what's sad about it, though, is that his supporters dive on that. If he was to say tomorrow, DJ Duce is the worst DJ ever, 10th Power, is the worst DJ ever, his supporters, without knowing you or my shit, will dive on us.
Oh, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
like, yeah, they're the worst ever, and don't even know.
Right. And that's in any situation, honestly. With him, with anyone in this world. We just jump and dive in without even knowing.
But no, I will not claim that. I'm sorry.
I
do my research.
I see it at work all the time.
I do my research. I read. I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say, "Don't buy this album because it's not good," and I sit up there and I listen to it, and I wind up buying the album.
Well, you can't. Well, another.
That's
thing.
just a small comparison. I could go on a larger scale with that. Don't buy this book. Don't. You know what I'm saying? I have my own opinions, and I don't follow a fucking crowd because somebody says to.
I believe half of what I believe nothing I hear and only half of what I see. In this day and age anymore, unfortunately. But yes, you gotta have some individuality, but unity at the same time. Love. Where's the love? Where's the love going? The love has gone down the drain. It's just so much negativity right now.
Well, it starts from the top, bro.
And works its way and trickles down.
Where's the love within the administration? Where's the love from this president? When you have, like I said, Stephen Miller, picking these. I believe he's the idiot that picked these dates. Because Trump didn't know what Juneteenth was. This idiot thinks that he actually made that popular.
So
he thinks he made Juneteenth popular.
That's how all that started? I didn't know that. All the Juneteenth stuff, all I know is I turn on the TV and that was a thing now. I've been known about that for years. But
okay.
What brought that back into the light?
We've all known about Juneteenth. He's the one idiot that didn't because why? Because he's a racist and doesn't care about Juneteenth. That's why. I mean, and there's just a whole lot more that.
Well, he doesn't know history. I don't think he knows.
That's true. That's true. Not like he claims he knows.
He don't know our history very well.
He thinks his prison reform actually did something. Notice how he says this. Oh, I've done more for the blacks than any other president. I've done prison reform. Was that a favor to the blacks? Is that what you're saying? Like, only blacks are in jail? I mean, does anybody catch that he says that? Prison reform, and he's done something for the blacks. And he ties the two together, like only black people are in jail. And it's turned black on black crime. I'm sorry, I'm going in. There's white on white crime. So if you're going to say black on black crime, say white on white crime, okay? Because we all know, statistics have proven most people are killed by people they know. Right?
Right.
So if I die, normally it'll be at the hands of a black man. Let's call that black on black crime, okay? Duce gets killed by somebody that he knows. Let's call that white on white crime? Are we going to do that? Or can we just call it crime, which is what it is?
And that's where it stands. We label things and we divide. And division has been going on since the test of time. That's what it really is, division. But yeah, I agree. We label that. We take that and then now it's white on white crime or black on black crime, Asian on Asian, whatever the situation may be. Crime's a crime, a murder's a murder, right? If you go out and kill someone, you get the same amount of time. Supposedly should get the same amount of time that I get, right? But I was supposed to.
But here's where systemic racism comes in. Okay, read a case, white guy, black guy, both committed the same crime, both have the same exact backgrounds. The white guy got 1.5 years. And this is by the same judge.
Same judge.
The white guy gets 1.5 years. The black guy got what, 30 years?
Yep. Bye-bye. That's a clear indication.
Same exact crime, same exact background. But I'm supposed to believe because some old white man named Mitch McConnell said so, that there's no such thing as systemic racism?
Racism does exist, and it always will.
Has he faced any racism?
I guess
so
not.
How would he know what even racism is like? How does he know what it feels like if you've never even been through it? You've been in a privileged life all your fucking life. How can you tell me about my pain? Who are you to tell me about my pain?
Well,
We gave you Obama because of he's saying, well, you shouldn't have reparations. How are we to do that? Do the fucking work, man. That's what your job requires.
Right.
Oh, we gave you Obama, so you shouldn't want reparations. You didn't give me shit. The people gave us Obama. We went out and voted for that.
More or less.
Man, don't get me started.
Who more or less we gave you Obama, you owe me. You know what I mean? That's what it was. We gave you that, now you owe me.
There's too many people like Mitch McConnell and this Matt Gaetz or whatever his name is, Gaetz. There's too many of these racist idiots in Congress right now.
So,
and that's where we have a problem.
Why aren't we rallying to get them out?
Oh, trust me. You don't think people are rallying?
Because that should be the
I see it on
center
Twitter.
of attention.
I see it on Twitter. People saying that people in Kentucky want McConnell out. He's neck and neck with his opponent right now. Actually, he's facing two Democrats.
They say that we should drain the swamp. Well, let's go drain that swamp.
Oh, well, Trump wouldn't consider Mitch McConnell swamp,
Well,
So,
Now, dive into this as far as our history goes.
Okay.
What's your take on that? All the statues coming down, the flags, just everything.
I'm all for it because these Confederate leaders, these Confederate flags, people aren't having them up for tradition. It's no different than a bunch of white guys with assault rifles going on to the state capitol and standing there. It's to intimidate. You want to intimidate me with your Confederate flag. Now, seeing somebody with a Confederate...
So, I don't mean to interrupt you, so I'm interpreting right. So you're saying that at one point it always potentially meant that, but now it's just not being used for heritage, for history at all. It's just more or less being brought in for racism. You're seeing this flag pop up at racist events, racist rallies, racist people supporting this flag. It's like the swastika all over again, right?
Exactly. I totally agree with that. I mean, why would you need a Confederate name on a military base, knowing what it represented? It represented somebody who fought for slavery. Why would that name need to be on the base?
I'm split actually when it comes to this. And that's why I brought it up. I don't think that we should forget our history. I think that's one of our biggest problems down here.
If the playing field was more level and we had a choice, if we had a black person on a dollar bill, which we know Trump will never do, if we had some bases named after, if we had a Malcolm X military base, if the playing field was more level like that, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. But that's not even the case.
Right. No, I understand. Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
So, our beatdown has been over 400 years, man. Over 400 years. And some people get that and some people just don't. And to not get it is to me, you want to be blinded by the facts. Now, for you, you're saying have those names on because it's a part of our history. I can understand that argument because I know you don't have a racist bone in your body.
Right. As for ancestors or people in my family in the past fought to free the African, you know what I mean? All that, it's all history. It's all part of our history.
So I get that argument from you because I know there's no racial overtone in you. But now put Trump in your seat. And I know it's a whole nother dynamic. Right. It's a whole different perspective. And this is the problem that I have. When I drive on 30, I know that those people that have the Confederate flag up aren't doing it because, of a tradition. They want that flag to be seen. It's a trend now. Right. Right. They want it to be seen. Otherwise, you could put it inside your house. Okay? Would people be upset if I had a black power fist on a red, black, and green flag and had that sitting outside my house? You're damn right people would be upset at that. Why? Then take down those Confederate flags, because this is what I stand for. Right. So why would you have a problem with that?
Unity. We need unity. We need unity. It ain't going to work out.
Unity starts from, and I agree. So if we're going to have unity, take down all of those flags.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise, live up To the true meaning of its creed, we hold the truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Martin Luther King.
Right.
So,
But everything is not created equal. Otherwise, why do we need a Voting Rights Act?
that's why it's time to unify and drain the swamp.
Matter of fact,
Everyone gotta
the
go.
new Voting Rights Act is sitting on whose desk for over 180 days? Mitch McConnell. Why is it sitting on your desk? Why? Because he doesn't believe in the Voting Rights Act.
No.
That's why it's important for blacks to vote. I can't stand when I come across somebody of my color and say that they don't vote. I get it when it comes
And I
to the
understand why
presidential
you
level.
get mad because of you explained to me in the past because of everything.
Yeah, I mean, Juneteenth is a perfect example of when I see what happens to my people in something like that, just even in a movie, just them choreographing it and watching that scene. I cry, bro. I cry because I know that that's real. And while that's not what, happened in real life, I mean, it happened in real life, but I'm actually seeing a replay of it.
A reenactment, right.
Yeah, a reenactment. Thank you. Bro, I'm in tears because I know my people suffered, man. It makes me angry. It makes me upset. And that's why I get mad at people that say, well, I'm not going to vote. I get it that you don't want to vote on the presidential level because a popular vote gets dismissed and it's this electoral college thing. But there's every other level that you could vote at and make a difference. So what's your excuse for that?
I guess deception. Is your votes being counted? Is everything being handled properly? We don't know. I don't think so.
So that's the reason not to try.
No, it isn't a reason not to try. It's a reason that we all need to get together, go drain that swamp. Because casting the votes doesn't seem to be working, so what other choice do we have at this point?
I think it's voting. I think it's working. You saw what the black woman did in Alabama.
I don't think it's working. I mean, Hillary should have won the popular vote, right?
She did win the popular vote.
Then why is she president?
Because we go by electoral college,
Again.
not by popular vote. So what it is do away with the do away with the electoral college.
Well, we know that's messed up out, and from the jump when it was created, it was just who created that. Do you
I have no idea.
That'd be something we need to put that up on. Yeah, we'll find out who created it. But if that was messed up from there, so let's say we do get rid of that whole system and jump to individuals. Who's heading that system? What's the new format now? And how can we be 100% certain that this is not going to become corrupted or have any deception whatsoever in the time frame?
Well, we would just go with the popular vote, which is what we've been doing. If they could tally a popular vote and know that Hillary beat Trump by 3 million votes.
That's what scares me, though. And then we go vote to them. We're going to vote, and then we're relying on them to tell us how many votes they got.
Yeah, but here's
who's on the inside
I
now.
don't disagree with you, but where we've seen these problems is mostly in red states, right? Where Republicans hold the Florida. Florida was very corrupt during the Bush and Gore situation. Come on, man. And these are the areas. You saw what happened in Georgia when it came to the vote and how African Americans didn't have nearly as many voting places as Caucasian people.
Right, yeah,
So,
to see that.
that's the first thing that needs to be addressed. We need more polling stations. But because, of what Republicans are doing, they're making it harder for us to vote. We have to travel further to vote. And this goes back to we're not created equal because we're not being treated as an equal. And
Right.
that's a prime example of it right there.
Right.
And then you can throw money in there too.
Well.
Privileged areas. Get this. Privileged people, get this. Why isn't the money trickling to the areas, to the schools that need it? Let's
Yeah.
say that they do defund the police.
That's what really makes me mad, And me for over a year now, and I'm always been pro-life. It's all lives to me. Always been, always will be. Humanity needs itself more than it ever did. And it makes me mad, like when I see people, okay, we're going to go to rally for this, we're going to stand up for this, right?
Right.
But, like, for example, my sister, and I don't know the whole situation with her, she went online and I think posted something about All Lives Matter and was attacked saying, no, it's not all lives matter. It's Black Lives Matter. Okay, that's fine in my perception. That's cool. It's Black Lives Matter, right? So the black children matter too, right? Our children, right? Well, then how come I see us all the time? And I'm not speaking in any one particular, zoning anyone out, but I see all different colors, honestly, of we're selling our children out. We're living off of our children. I have a woman that lives down the street from me that I definitively know lives off her child.
What do you mean lives off her child?
Gets welfare, uses the system. I see that goes on. I mean, I worked property management. I've had a family come in, and I believe 5 of them were on Social Security. They were making $5,000 a month between the 5 of them. Wow.
Well, let me just address the first situation. When we say Black Lives Matter, let's make it clear, and we keep saying this. We're not saying that all lives don't matter when we say Black Lives Matter. And that's what Trump would want you to believe when we take a kneel during the national anthem. It's in protest. We don't stand in front of a state capitol with an assault rifle. We take a knee at
Right, you're doing
flag.
it, you're showing it in a different fashion.
A peaceful protest. My peaceful protest is taking a knee. Your peaceful protest is standing at the state capitol with an assault weapon. Now imagine if you reverse the situation. Took me, a black man, and posted me. Who would be considered the threat? I'm considered the threat when I'm taking a knee. I damn sure would be considered the threat if I'm with an assault rifle at the state capitol. So this goes back to we're not created equal. That's number one.
I agree.
Let me go back to this. We're not saying all lives don't matter. But if all lives did matter, we wouldn't be having this conversation about equality because all lives matter.
Right.
We wouldn't be protesting because George Floyd had a knee in his neck because we would have equality. We wouldn't be protesting because Breonna Taylor got shot while she was sleeping, because we would have equality. So, this is why we say Black Lives Matter. Can somebody show me a video of a white man being killed by a knee in the neck of a black police officer? No, they can't show me that. Can they show me where a white girl named Brittany, Holloway was, shot while she was sleeping from SWAT raiding her home? No, they can't show me that. But I could show you, a black adult who was shot by a cop because he was watching TV in his living room and she got the wrong spot. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So until that gets addressed, those things get addressed, it's not all lives matter. What has to happen is
the equality needs to be fixed.
What has to happen is, and Candace Owens is not the person to bring in on this, but you have to bring in those black so-called leaders to sit at a table, a delegation of white people, a delegation of black people, and everybody be represented.
Puerto Ricans, Chinese.
Yes, bring them all in.
Right.
And let's, just like a UN session, and let's have a discussion on what it would take. And some feelings are going to be hurt, but you got to let those voices be heard. And if you can man up or woman up and take that and really want to change things, that's the way to do it. If you really want, take away this Voting Rights Act thing. Everybody, black, white, you're a citizen, you get to vote.
You're a citizen.
Should not have to be no Voting Rights Act.
No. If you're a citizen, you vote.
These things can happen, and it's that simple. But the people that are in power, they don't want that to happen. Let's just keep it real.
Then the people with power got to go.
People are upset at us saying Black Lives Matter. There was actually people that were clowning George Floyd's death, in front of protesters, making a mockery of it. They lost their jobs because they were caught on camera. Mm-hmm. But what if this was a white man? Would you be mocking it then? What do you find funny in that? And I don't understand Candace Owens going in and saying, well, I researched him and he's no hero and he's no this or that. Nobody ever claimed him to be a hero. Nobody claimed him to be a perfect person. But all we ever did is said this was a man that didn't deserve to die in the way that he did. You blew it up, Miss Owens, into this whole thing.
Right. No, I understand. What a world we live in.
Yeah.
Timeline. And it's progressing, and like I said, and stuff's going on right now as we speak.
And the same way that me and you are having this conversation, people have to have this conversation.
Yeah,
know?
generally, yes, they do. But where do you think we're going next? We went from racism, virus to racism in, like I said, 24 hours, and now we're on that. I think what the rally's going to come up, what the virus is coming back, and we're going to be on that again. You think that's what's going to happen?
Yeah, I think there's more of us than them, meaning more people that want to see unity and racial equality than people who want to divide and continue with their racist views and ways. I truly believe there's more of us than them, and the protest is proof positive of that. To me, it is. Again, back to conspiracies. A conspiracy, again, is drawn off of deception and doubt. So the way I see it and it all happening, it's almost like, wow, what if this, now I'm thinking, the virus, the numbers that you are giving me are telling me that it's nothing to worry about. Mm-hmm. But now that I see all these protests popping up, what if it comes back and now it is something, or what if it, you know what I mean? Scary. Yeah, well, because
you never do know. We never do know. We can sit and speculate.
Exactly. And that's how, at least for me, that's how I've always operated on. I still, when I go out, and I just went grocery shopping, wine store yesterday, still have my mask on, still have my gloves on. As soon as I come into my car, I take the gloves off.
Okay, so you don't wear it in the car?
No, I don't wear it in the car.
Thank you.
But
me personally,
my car's been sanitized.
Okay.
So,
For me personally, for anyone out there, I'm not talking to anyone in the car with the mask on. That I don't understand at all.
Sometimes it could be from a person's coming from someplace and just forgot. Because, I went to the liquor store first before I hit Wise. And in my transport, I realized, oh snap! I got my mask on.
Right, I see people let it hang. Yeah. But no, that's seen this one woman. This one day, she was covered to the T. She had like a scarf wrapped around her. I knew she couldn't breathe. There's like 3 scarves on this woman. I have trouble that's why I don't like the mask. They make me touch my face more than I ever had in my entire life.
Really?
I get cold sores in my nose. I got 2 now in my nose.
So you're not comfortable with.
I don't get cold sores when I don't have the mask on. I guarantee
maybe it's the material that your mask is made out of?
Maybe Vaseline. I tried different masks. I started with the regular cloth. Now I'm on like a nylon. First it was a bandana. I got told by my work I couldn't wear a bandana. Because I don't know why. I didn't get let's just say I didn't get a good answer on that. So I stopped wearing a bandana, started wearing just like a regular t-shirt, cloth, homemade one. I didn't really like that because after a while it stretches out. Now it's just hanging, it's flapping, it's making me have to touch my face all the time. So then I got a nylon one, homemade one with the strings. That works good. It keeps up against me, but the strings pull on my ear. I get ear hurt, like right in here. Yeah, it's too tight, and I can't adjust it because it's a string and it's one length.
Right.
So yeah, now I got that. So I got it covered now as far as covering goes. But now I'm dealing with the issue of cold sores, and I don't know. I'm guessing maybe I've seen people suggest Vaseline in my nose. So
yeah,
that's my next thing.
That's actually a good thing to do because it could just be that the inside of your nose is not moist enough. And
that's what I'm thinking.
They suggest the Vaseline.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try that and see if that works.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem with the mask at all.
No?
Diana has made 5 of them for me, and my favorite.
What material is she using?
She's made different masks for me. Some have designs on them, but my favorite ones are the ones made out of. It feels like a t-shirt material. T-shirt, and it covers up most of my face, literally up to my eyes.
I've seen hers. The one she makes the foldy ones with like the stretch, like the rubber bands on them.
Yeah, it's not rubber bands, but it's an elastic type of string.
And she puts that on the end, like
and she makes it with a sewing machine, and I love them.
I didn't have no problems with the bandana.
Oh, okay.
But why couldn't I wear the bandana?
Because that's a nice soft cloth material, and like I said, my favorite ones that she made is of that kind of t-shirt material.
Yeah,
You know?
and a bandana didn't have to. I can just tie it around my head and not my ears. That's why I liked it. I didn't have to involve my ears at all. Wash your mask, please, if you.
Yes, at least, at the very least, hand wash them. I throw mine in the washing machine.
I soak mine in my little bleach in there. I forgot the one day I missed work or something like a couple weeks ago, and I went the next day. I forgot to wash it. Oh my God, I didn't wear it that night. I needed to.
And
It's horrible.
And the thing is, though, too, the one that she makes on the inside of the mask, she has a hole in there where we can put a filter in there. She has this
You got a filter
special
thing.
type of paper towel that we use as a filter inside of the mask. So I just change that out every day.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I don't have that.
But
That's
then again, like I said, I have 5 masks, so I
You
wear
rotate.
a mask for a whole week and I rotate them, but I change the filter every day.
Honestly, bro, I start out with the mask on, then about an hour into my job, it's off my face. You're working in a factory, it's hot, I need to breathe. So that's where I'm at with
Oh, we have air conditioning at my job, but
We're split. We have part air conditioning, and then if you're in the back where like the chocolate's being heated, it's like 95 degrees back there.
y'all heat chocolate?
Yeah, the liquid chocolate, they like put on pretzels. Yeah, all has to be heated, and then your pretzels run through your rover, and that's where your chocolate's drizzled on, and then it goes through a second chocolater, which is called the drizzler, and that drizzles like if you ever get a Hershey's pretzel, there's 2 layers of chocolate on it.
Okay.
There's a standard layer, and then there's a black dark chocolate drizzler layer on top of it. 95 degrees in the back of the kitchen.
Wow.
It's hot. And that's normal. We're averaging 85, 90 in December. So we haven't really gotten hot here lately.
That's why I have so much respect for people who do landscaping, because they're out there, man, busting their butt in that heat.
I haven't yet to see a landscaper with the mask on.
I don't think I've seen that either, now that I think
It's
about
too
it.
hot. It's too hot. Don't be smart. Please don't pass out or hurt yourself. And be safe.
Drink water. Drink plenty of water.
Drink water. Get your vitamins in. Be healthy. Be happy.
Yeah,
That sounds
absolutely.
like the Cheerio bee. Be happy. Be happy. Be healthy. Yep. Music. I don't know what's going on with music.
Well, okay, so some labels have decided to drop the category urban music.
Huh?
Because they feel it takes on negative connotations to say somebody that is progressive. Say somebody that...
What, using the word urban?
Yeah. So...
Well, that's because they made it like that.
Yeah, they actually did.
They did. And you know how I know this? I'll never forget this. On my way home, I forget how old I was. It was a vacation. We come home from somewhere, and we went through Baltimore. And there was a sign up that said, "Warning, urban area, be alert," or something. Huh?
Wow.
That blew my mind. So they're taking away the urban...
Category, and I don't know.
What are we calling it now?
That I don't know, but I don't know if they're going to call it like a black music division, or if they're just going to call it music or what have you. But they're dropping the urban category.
And we're losing Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
We're losing household staples that I grew up with.
Yeah, I had a problem with the Aunt Jemima thing. I didn't know about Uncle Ben, but they had already got rid of, the head scarf and all that. They had her hair done. I didn't see a problem with how she was out there. I'm not sure why I think it's a little bit overboard.
I do too. I think from the little story I read in the backlog I got on the second woman that portrayed her, because there was a woman in the beginning and she died, and then the second woman portrayed her the longest.
Okay.
Something to do with
Portrayed.
Yeah,
You said portrayed.
portrayed. And I think they're summing it up has to do something with the family is trying to profit off the history and I guess the slavery of the history of the brand of the syrup. That's what I got from it. And same thing with Uncle Ben. Same thing with almost same thing with any African American brand right now. They're saying that white people are profiting off of black people more or less. That's what I'm taking from it. But do we get rid of that, or do we get rid of that? And okay, we're not going to use Uncle Ben anymore. We'll call him Uncle Jerry, turn him whatever color now. That's not fixing the problem.
No, that's definitely not.
So if it is true that white people, and we obviously know people profit off of everything down here, anything to make a buck off of, it seems like people are selling out. But if we do know that people were being sold out, and that is true, and that they are profiting off of that, then get them the hell out of there and take over the company. But don't erase the name and get rid of the history behind it. Because
yeah, I think this is where, again, two parties need to sit at the table and find a happy medium. I think could have, you know, hire more black executives within the company, maybe. Qualified executives. Don't just hire them to be hiring them.
Yeah, that's another problem. Yeah, and that does seem like it goes on everywhere. Even at my job, they throw in a couple African Americans. It almost seems like there's not enough diversity. Almost. And I'm white, and I noticed that.
I agree that there's not enough diversity on all levels, right? But I know that there was a big dispute yesterday on Twitter about post-production editing when it came to films. And, you know, somebody was looking for more black editors in that field of post-production. And it became this nasty argument where one white guy kind of went the all lives matter route, and he got blasted for it, and deservedly so, because like I said, we're not saying that all lives don't matter, but you know, apparently white companies were getting the largest majority of these jobs for motion pictures without even black companies being looked at. And that's where the problem exists. That's where the problem lies. We gave the perfect example of systemic racism with that one judge. Right. And now you just take that across, you know. It's
another log added onto the fire, I guess you would say.
And you know, this happens in a lot of companies. It happens in a lot of things. You have the police that would rather go bust, you know, the little Latino kid or the black kid, you know, for having, you know, a small ounce of weed on them, instead of that corporate executive that works at Wall Street that has pounds of cocaine in their, you know, in their condo. Well, why is that?
One's a criminal, one isn't.
Yeah, when they both are.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, when you're racially profiled, then, you know, one is a criminal, and like you said.
And I've been racially profiled, and I'm white. You know, yeah, you know, growing up in the city my whole life. Just the way I dress, the way I talk, the way I carry myself. You know, I got racially profiled, I said. And the high school I went to, for an example, you know, I grew up in city schools my whole life, and then I went to Votech in York. And Votech is more diverse. You got people coming from the city, people coming from Red Line, New Freedom. So it was like a clash. So first year there, I'm not used to being around all these country kids. And these country kids aren't used to being around us.
City folks?
City folk. So bad combination right from the jump.
Right.
Because they, you know, and I could just sense the hate. And that there was no color really involved. That was just, I guess, being part of the group. Maybe it was color involved. Maybe I just didn't see it. Probably because in their eyes, well, if you're hanging with them, you might as well be one of them.
Some people already come in with their mind a certain way to how things are, and without actually learning the person. I was that way when I went to Germany. I thought, you know, everything was going to be bagpipe music, and you know, I had no idea what I was going into. And then I go over there and I see that, you know, the clubs, they played American music. And I was just so shocked by that when I really shouldn't be. Music is a universal language, right?
Right.
So I shouldn't have been shocked, but, you know, I went in there with a certain mindset. You know, same thing when I went to California. I just thought I was going to hate it, you know, because I'm so New York. I loved California, man. I had a ball out there, but you just had to drop that negative, you know, thinking.
Going with that mindset.
Yeah. Those people were great. They were great towards me, you know, and I loved it out there. And it taught me a lot. It taught me not to have those predispositions or whatever the word is when I go into a situation like that, because you'll be surprised what you come away with when you go into it with an open mind.
I agree. No more urban category music, though.
No.
That's gone. So, like I said, I'm curious what we're going to call it next. God, we're screwing everything up at this point.
I mean, but think about it. Isn't music just a split? Radio stations just a split? Urban radio, pop station.
Yeah, again, diversity. Yep. It all boils down to that. And we got urban radio, country radio.
Right.
I mean, we all have flavors.
You got your white churches, you got your black churches.
Yep.
You know, there are some churches like the one I used to go to before I moved here to York, Church of the Redeemer in Gaithersburg, Maryland. All races were there, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And Pastor Shields was a great pastor to where, you know, he didn't have to give a 2-hour sermon for me to get a message. You know, I would go to the so-called, and I'm not putting black churches down, but this one particular black church I went to, I would be in there for 2 hours, walk out there scratching my head like, what was the message I was supposed to get?
So you didn't get anything?
I wasn't getting anything out of it. And for me, that's what church had to be about for me, that I had to learn something while I was there. And every time I went to the Church of Redeemer,
so would that
just seemed like
so
he
would you
spoke
put
to
that
me.
would you put that blame on would you put that blame on the Reverend
Yeah, I would definitely put it on the
of how he was coming
Reverend.
across?
Yeah, because it just seemed like when you talk to the people, you got to be able to dumb it down, and not to say that they're dummies, but you got to have that 5-year-old understand what you're talking about.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Is if a little kid was to come up to DJ Duce and tug at your t-shirt and say, "Can you tell me what hip hop music is?" You will be able to explain it to him in a way that he can understand it.
Yeah.
Right?
Not like, oh, well, back in 4 quarters and 7 years ago in
Yeah.
1973.
Exactly. And you don't need to use long words to get through to people. You know what I'm saying? And Pastor Shields just had a way of always talking to me every time I was there in his church. And I'm sure if I got that, I'm sure every other person in that church got that also. And that's not to say that the other church where people didn't get the message. I just know I wasn't feeling
It wasn't for me.
No, it wasn't.
So you went to a new church?
Yeah, because other people were. I was telling my friends, "Hey man, I need a new church. I'm just not feeling this guy." And blah blah blah. Everybody was telling me go to Church of Redeemer, and they were right.
So you went there, and how long is this sermon?
The entire service was like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, so
You
we're
go
in
in there, you sing some songs. They do one collection. He gives the service, and then the benediction. That's it. You're out.
And okay.
Home
So
in time to see the football games, man. Literally.
Right, you get what you need, get out. Right.
Exactly. And if you can't catch him on a Sunday, he has Saturday service. If you can't catch him on Saturday, he has a Wednesday service.
Can we agree that even church was manipulated over time, and that was
absolutely.
greed and money with that?
Absolutely.
Like-
when you got pastors that are saying Trump is the chosen one,
Put $50 in the collection plate if you like
that
it.
should not be
Let me
your
hear a statement.
position. That should not be your position.
Money again. I seen a quote on Facebook. I'll never forget that when it said, "If money is the root of all evil, then why is it the thing in churches? Put it in the collection.
The collection plate. Because even in the church, you got to pay bills.
You got to pay the bills.
Yeah, you got to pay for that lighting. You got to pay for
What
the
a scenario,
microphones.
ain't they?
Yeah.
Oh my, what a
I was
trap.
a chaplain's assistant, man. My job in Germany was I worked in a church. So, I had to take those collections. I had to count that money up. I had to, I did all of that. I had to set up for the service and every different type of service that, they train you for these things.
So-
Catholic service, whatever.
So hard to do the wrong thing, and right? Am I saying that right? So easy, yes. So easy to do the wrong thing, but so hard to do the right. There we go.
You know what? I teach my kids the actual reverse of what you just said. I teach them the exact opposite. It is easy to walk the straight and narrow. Very easy. You have to go out of your way, I believe, to do something bad. Because in your heart, you know what you're about to do is wrong. You know that from the minute that if you decide to smoke some weed,
Right.
you know as a teenager, 13, 12-year-old, you know you're about to do wrong. You do it anyway because it looks like it's more fun, right? Your friends are doing it. That's why some people do it because of peer pressure. That doesn't make it any less wrong, okay? So, but that's the path that you chose, right? What if you didn't choose that path? What if you said, "Nah, I'll pass," which is what I did when I was a kid. No, thank you.
Which I have on other things.
And you get looked at funny But that's okay. I could take that. I just didn't want to smoke your weed, man, because I'm not into drugs. You
Right.
know, that's and this is what I taught my kids. When you walk that straight and narrow, when you stay on that right path, you will get your blessings. You will get what God says will come to you because you're doing right. You know, you block your blessings when you go off that road. And I said, now, you staying on that path may be unpopular to some people, but you were born by yourself, unless you're a twin, and then
Right.
the both of y'all were born by yourself.
Right.
You're going to die by yourself.
I guess I should say even if you are like someone and you are walking the straight path and all that, so many temptations.
Yeah, definitely.
Coming at you in all different
definitely,
angles.
Definitely. It's up to you to choose the right road or the wrong road.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep. Will you make it back home at the end of the day?
I can honestly say that when I stay the right path, sure, I've gone off the path. Definitely.
We all have.
I know what I could say to my kids, right? But when I've gone off that path, I damn sure block my blessings. When I got back on that path and asked for forgiveness, and I'm not trying to turn this into a church service.
No.
But you see the blessings, right?
Right.
You see the blessings. This is what I tell my friends who don't believe in God. And I've had some friends say that they don't believe in, okay.
Well, what do you believe in? That's my next question. What do
I
you
believe in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Period. Definitely. I don't think I would have gotten anything of what I've gotten if it wasn't for him.
No, I'm not. I wasn't asking you particular.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
That's what I asked them when they say they don't know. Well, who do you believe in? That's my first question.
I don't think they believe in anything. The same person that I'm talking about also doesn't believe in voting.
You gotta believe in something, ain't? Right?
I would hope he does because, you have this person has kids, right? That's a blessing.
Is that worse yet? If someone doesn't, they're just blank checking and not believing in nothing. Is that worse? I don't know.
I've never asked them, and maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to go to them and ask them what it is that you believe in.
Well, what if they don't have an answer? What if they're just like, and just where do you go from there?
Then that's on them, and I can still pray for them, hope that they find their way, but that's on them. I can't help them.
Love thy neighbor.
Yes,
Love thy neighbor.
I need to remember that.
Yeah, we don't do enough down here. We don't pass enough love on.
It's hard for me because I had one neighbor literally come up to me 3 weeks ago. He looked me up and down. Then he looked at the front of my house. I was checking my mail. He goes, "Are you an athlete?"
You didn't get asked that.
I could not believe it. Couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Couldn't believe it.
How did that make you feel?
Like I was being racially profiled.
Oh, I bet.
And it didn't help that I had a New York Knicks T-shirt on top of that. So I don't know how many New York Knicks players wear. Do I look like an athlete to you, you idiot?
Yeah, you're a pitch center base.
Then and he says, "Well, you keep yourself in such good shape." That's not really your reason why you asked me because you don't even know.
Now,
me,
someone would have came up to you and said you look like C.J. Mack. That's different. And we're gonna have a picture up on the screen to compare because you look like him.
I've heard C.J. Mack. I've heard Ron Harper from the Bulls. That I look
Ron
like him.
Harper. No.
Yeah. I've heard Bill Cosby. I've heard Flip Wilson. I've heard
Bill Cosby.
Antonio. Yeah, I've heard. I used to hear Bill Cosby and Flip Wilson a lot when I was younger. I used to hear that look like Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch, Antonio Fargas. I used to hear that a lot when I was in my late teens and early 20s. And one time I'm in a restaurant in LA and a guy comes up to me and asks me for my autograph because he thought that's who I was. And I just looked at him and I said, "I'm not him." He said, "Are you sure?" I think I would know, man. I think I would know.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm not him, but, thank you.
Now, let's say you're in a situation. What if you couldn't convince that person that you weren't him? What would you have done?
Hurt his feelings. I'll be honest with you.
You just hurt his feelings?
I would just hurt his feelings.
Like, get away from me?
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to believe me from my own mouth that I'm telling you I'm not him, first of all, he's way taller than I am.
I'm me. You know me. I just would have took the picture and let him post it, and everyone would be like, "That isn't
this
him."
is before cell phones and all that.
Oh, this stuff.
He was actually I'm talking like 1986.
Oh,
He actually was a waiter, and he came over with paper and pen in his hand and asked me for an autograph.
Wow. And you told him, no, it ain't.
I'm not him.
You sure?
No, yeah, you sure? I'm telling you, Ron. And I told him who I said, you think I'm this guy, and I said, that's not me.
Come on, you ain't him? Like
You
you're lying
look so
to
much
him.
like him. I heard the same thing about Ron Harper. I was in 7-Eleven on Clapper Road in Maryland, Gaithersburg, Maryland, and Germantown. And he was like, man, you're not Ron Harper? Ron Harper's 6'9", bro. I'm 6 feet.
I was gonna say Ron's a little taller than you.
Yeah.
You must have shrunk over the years.
I was like, I know I'm bald headed like him. I got a big nose like him, but I'm not him. Would I be at that 7-Eleven if I was him? No, I'd probably be somewhere with a lot of money chilling somewhere.
Oh my, that's funny. No movies have come out. Not anything that.
Well, we got something to look forward to. You got the new James Bond.
Yeah.
You got the new Fast and Furious.
Are we running out of movie ideas? Because I'm not getting excited. What you just told me, I didn't jump out of my seat or anything.
I'm excited about the new James Bond.
I don't know.
I like Daniel Craig as an actor a lot.
I'll give it a run for its money because I guess that's really all that's coming out. Is that it?
No, I'm sure that's not it. There was a third movie that I did want to see, but I can't think of it at the moment.
I'll tell you, from March to where are we? Okay, we're June. Let me think there for a second. From March until April, for at least a month and a half, nothing as far as movies. Thank God for TV series. That's what kept me grounded the whole time.
Some of the movies just said F it and they went straight to Netflix,
Yes, I just see that.
That's one thing.
Yeah, and remember we talked about that on the previous episode, if that would be the new norm. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's going to happen. I see, like I said, stuff is opening up, except for Lebanon County and Pennsylvania is the only one that ain't open.
Why are they not opening?
Apparently, they do not have the low numbers needed to proceed into the next phase. Mm. I don't know what their numbers are off top. I know they're the last one though, and they are pissed. I would be too. And I guess that goes back to the question we asked in the beginning of the episode. What number is enough? And then I asked myself, okay, if you're taking that into consideration, then what number is enough of how many people need to suffer? If I help these people out, then I'm affecting these people. Whoa.
I just think that.
Right? You're oh my.
This is a tough situation, right? I agree. I think that states have done what they can do to protect the majority of the people. I don't disagree with what a lot of these states are doing. I disagree with the part about reopening too soon. I disagree with allowing tourists too soon. Proof in the pudding is the spikes that you see in those states. New York is still on the decline. They're about to go into their phase 2. That means they've done everything right. They didn't just do a grand opening and allow people to just infiltrate. And I think they are the blueprint of what everybody else should have done.
I like to know,
because everybody thought that New York was going to be.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, Seattle was the hot spot, and
New York became a hot spot, but they flattened the curve in a big way and got results in a big way. And nobody's saying, look at what they did, and that's a concern for me because you should be.
Just so much. So much, with the testing and then the symptoms, hell, it could be. Do I honestly think that there are some retards out in the world that are working? Let's say, I don't know, a girl named Rachel, a girl named Suzanne, a girl named, I don't know, is working in this office, and her responsibility is she's examining these bodies and is determining the cause of death. So she has 3 check boxes. You get COVID, we got flu, and we got, I don't know, other or something. Mm-hmm. So you're examining this person. You're not sure. You're not 100%. So now the decision's up to you. You got to check something, though. What do you check if you're not 100% sure?
Are we sure that that's how it's being done?
Not 100% sure that's how it's being done, but... How do
Okay.
we know for sure? You know what I mean? How do we know for sure?
And I'm sure that in this case that is happening. That there are some cases like that, and it's called a margin of error, right?
Margin of error,
so
right.
I believe that in that, but it's tough when you have a situation like that with somebody that's got other symptoms of whatever. Take for instance, I know of a person who was battling cancer, but was in a bad car accident and passed away. So was the cancer accelerated because of being in a terrible car accident, or did he just die of cancer?
So that you don't know.
I think in this case you have to check both off. I think the car accident accelerated those cancer cells or whatever just taking over his body.
So
and
what? He was just
passed
driving
away.
and then just
Yeah, he got T-boned.
also.
Or it might have been a head-on. I can't remember which one it is.
Oh wow. So what? So what? You're just saying that they're trying to determine if what the cancer killed?
No, I'm asking the question. What I don't know what ended up being. I'm talking about my father-in-law.
Okay, so you're talking about the ultimate cause of death.
Right. What was determined in his ultimate cause of death? In that case, I would think that the car accident accelerated his cancer, which he ended up eventually passing away from. So,
Right.
I think you could literally check off all boxes in that and saying the car accident and
Well, then that's COVID related. Mm-hmm. That's again, it's all speculation related. The numbers, just I mean,
But and that's the thing. I think that's why you still have to add them in the stat because, if I have the flu,
what? Yeah, glad you brought that up. What system do we use? I wonder for that. Tracking our flu, like a
what I'm
regular
saying.
flu.
That's what I'm saying. You could say the same about HIV people. They died from a HIV or AIDS related,
Death.
infection. Yeah. So
Right. He had HIV, which caused this symptom, which ultimately causes death, but it all converts back to HIV.
right, exactly. So I think that in this case is an HIV related death, right? You could say the same thing for COVID.
Now, do you think if the virus comes back, I don't see another shutdown happening.
Comes back. It's never left.
Well, comes back with a vengeance. I'm saying comes back, and the numbers now are left.
And Pennsylvania, because it's already come back in those states that I named, Texas, Florida, Oklahoma. It's already spiking. So it's come back there. The numbers are going back up, and they're not shutting down again. So I think it's just, let them die.
Let them die.
Because what Steve Mnuchin said, we can't do another shutdown as a country. So
Again, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you shut down, I mean, you're hurting how many other people? You're hurting these people. You're hurting. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Right?
I mean, people were protesting like the governor wanted them to lose their jobs, and that's the part that I have a problem with. When you mention Wolf and when you mention, nobody said that about Cuomo. I don't hear any complaints about Cuomo. Why? Because he did it the right way. And what he was doing was working. And maybe there's just more people in New York that care about staying alive than dying. Maybe I don't know. But,
Well, I think what really ticked people off about Wolf is you're saying don't wear your mask, stay away, do all this, and then you go out and protest. That set everyone off. You can't. You bit your own tongue when you did that, and that's what started it. Honestly, I think.
I've seen this where people.
You're telling me not to go outside, but yet you were just out last night with how many people?
Well, keep in mind that protest wouldn't have happened had they not gone to a whole nother phase. We weren't in full lockdown when people started protesting. So let's keep that in mind. I don't think those protests would have happened if we were in full lockdown, because you would have seen a lot more arrests. So we were already in a whole nother phase when those protests started
I seen the
happening.
picture. There was well over 250 people in that protest.
I'm not complaining about the amount of people. I'm just saying that they had a right to protest because
Right.
of the phase that we were in at the time. Now, it's up to those 250 people. Is this worth the risk to me, to be involved in this protest? I was off that day. I could have been at that protest if I wanted to. I chose not to. I chose to stay at home and to stay safe. I know of other people who actually went to the protest. Could that have been good if me and you were there and we could have talked to some people? Sure, that would have been good. You know, we could have been there on the front line with it. But, you know, I have grandkids I haven't seen yet that I would like to see, I would like to meet, I would like to touch.
Right. We got lives and and that's
So
what a story.
You know, I have to find another way to be a vital voice for Mr. Floyd, you know, and that's through this podcast. And I honestly wanted to blast on Candace Owens, but I'll say this: she ain't worth it. She ain't worth it.
It is what it is.
You know, I have to pray to get the hate out of my heart for this person, and it takes a lot for me to just call her a person. That's how much I hate her to my core.
Don't let hate over exaggerate your love. Don't let hate become greater than love.
Yeah, I gotta pray on that, bro.
Yeah, it needs some little work
because you know that really her. I can't see how you think you're for the black people when everything you say.
How does she grow up? How does she grow up? Was she privileged? Was she privileged? Would you say?
I don't know. I don't know her
because the way she comes across and everything, it almost seems it to me. I don't know her background though, so that's why I asked.
I know she's educated, but I'll say this: everything that I've seen her pursue, everything I've read about, because you can, just like she researched George Floyd, I researched her too. She don't like paying her rent. She owes some people some money. Okay, we could go on it if we want to. Okay, I researched her too.
Owe some rent, huh? Got some backlog.
Yeah, stayed at a place for 6 months and then didn't want to pay, and then wanted to say, oh, there was mold and this is why I didn't pay. Come on, man. I mean, Judge Judy could see, through this, all right? If there's mold and you're seriously concerned about living at a place with mold buildup, why were you there for 6 months?
Yeah,
why were you there?
You weren't concerned. Black mold? What, black mold? Black mold?
She didn't say whether it's black or green, but mold, period. And, if I'm not going to clean it myself, I'm getting out of there.
Right.
Okay? That's just the bottom line. So, stop trying to pass yourself off as, everything that she's done, that she has been a complete and utter failure. The websites that she's been at and all that. And because her position as a Democrat didn't work, I guess she needed some attention and decided to go, Republican. Because when she was a Democrat, she was basically doing the same things that she's doing now.
Oh,
except
so she
it was against but it was
switched.
against the Republicans. The Republicans were these bad, so-called bad people. Now she's a Republican.
Now it's flipped.
Now it's flipped. And it was that easy for her to do that, which tells me what? You're a fake and a phony.
Oh,
you don't even believe in the bullshit that you're saying. I mean, how many things have I seen her be on since she's made her statement on George Floyd, and everybody's come away scratching their head like, what the hell was she talking about? Because she's not making no sense.
Well, it's one thing to change your opinions and perception on something, but at least explain why you're doing it.
At least use facts, man, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Use facts.
Yeah. Oh, my.
If we're not sure of something, we will say that. If we're giving an opinion, we will say that.
Right. If I'm not sure on something, which I'm not sure on a lot of things in life, it's an opinion.
Right. So say that, but she'll spit it off her face like it's known fact, known man fact, and this and this and this and what did she say? For the first 100 years after slavery was over, black people loved it.
They're just having time of their life.
And then when civil rights came in, the civil rights movement came in, it was a big mistake. It worked against black people. Huh?
I mean, well, I've seen people in life already and dealt with people that I will sit there and tell them that that wall's that color. No, it's not. It's such and such color. Mm-hmm. And you can sit here, and you can't make them see that it's actually that color. What do? Just let it be, I guess, be what it is, right?
When you're on a platform like we are, though, please say, in my opinion, I think this, so that I know.
Well, that's what a podcast is opinionated.
Yeah, true. But when I'm speaking facts, I will tell you I'm speaking facts. When I'm speaking my opinion, I will say, in my opinion, this, that, and the third. So you know the difference. And I'm not saying not everybody's not be like me. But
Right.
when you have shows like Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, and which are both cowards, and here's a third coward, Tucker Carlson. When you have shows like that, you had a lawyer in front of a judge yesterday saying, "Oh, I think the American public knows not to take Tucker Carlson as a serious journalist." You got a lawyer for Fox 5 saying that, his own network. Why is he on TV doing a journalistic opinion then?
Opinion, yeah.
And having a top-rated show.
Yeah.
You know, his I don't hate Tucker Carlson to the level that I hate Candace Owens, because Tucker Carlson is a punk. He's just a punk. And let me say how I really feel. He's a punk bitch on his opinions.
Oh shit. Going at him on Twitter. Right?
And I would love.
You didn't get banned on Twitter yet?
Oh man, I've let him have it on Twitter. I would love to have him face to face. That's what I would really like.
I love to have a lot of people face to face and actually have a try to have a conversation. I don't know
But he don't want to be on anybody else's show and really have some facts thrown at him. He don't want to go. He don't want to come up against me. I'll put it to you like that. Because here's where your bullshit is going to stop.
Right. Well, and that's the screwy Louie. I hate people that do. Well, you know, it's come on my show, but I don't want to go on your show. So you have full control and everything. That's just Why don't we meet somewhere in the middle?
When they're on the show, he bullies them, and if they say something against his opinion, he cuts the interview short.
Yep. Oh, nope.
He has to control the narrative. See, to me, that's some bullshit. Me and you can sit here and discuss our differences of opinion or whatever. Like, I know you have a problem with government. I have no problem with government. I have a problem with the way the government's run. Mm-hmm. That's my difference. So, but we can have those discussions. We did it, through text. We did it face to face, and we come away with a handshake, and we're good to go, right?
Right.
That's how it should be,
that's
right?
That's just life, right?
Yeah.
Right.
All right. But unfortunately, not everybody can be like that.
No, not everyone can have a constructive criticism or sit down and have a conversation.
This is the breakdown of everything.
Right.
Until we can have that, until the way we respect each other, until every human being is respected.
Can get on that level.
Yeah. Whether you're lesbian, trans, white, black.
We're a long way.
Native, we're a long way, bro. You need a whole nother United Nations within this country.
Yeah, I believe that. We're a long way.
And to have conversation and have real change.
Oh, yeah.
Because these protests, you're not going to have real change, real nothing until you have laws changed. That bullshit that Senator Scott wrote in South Carolina, why do you think they chose a black guy to write the police reform that Congress wants to pass? Why did the Republicans choose him to write it? He's the only black Republican.
Right. We didn't have a choice, more or less.
They didn't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
They're not interested. So
we just hired him for the job.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. And if I was him, I would have took that a certain kind of way. Why are y'all choosing me now?
Do you agree that there's puppets in all races?
Oh, absolutely. There's puppets
that'll sell you out in a heartbeat.
Sellouts. Candace Owens is the perfect example of a bootlicking puppet to me.
So she sell you out in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Trump will sell you out in a heartbeat.
Oh,
he has no dedication to nobody except for maybe his kids and himself, not even his wife.
I see that even in with like heroin addicts. They'll sell their own family out. Anyone's expendable for that drug. Mm-hmm. So if that's possible, then why can't others be possible? Mm-hmm. Sad world we live in.
Yeah, I agree. And you have a lot of scared people in Congress. That want to hold on to their positions, so they stay quiet.
How long have you had those positions?
A lot of them need to go. I believe there needs to be term limits.
Oh yeah, there needs to be a giant flush, and we need to rebuild from the ground up.
Yep.
Some new, fresh, young minds.
I think you should serve 2 terms and then be out.
Yes, diversity. We need diversity, unity, fresh young minds. Mm-hmm. Mix it up a little bit.
Congress should be more representative of the people of that they represent.
Right, as a
period.
test of time. Right.
Yeah, we should have Native American people in Congress. We should have whites in Congress. We should have blacks in Congress. We should have gays in Congress. We should have veterans in Congress.
Right. I mean, when you look around, like when they get all together, when in the chamber, I'm not seeing enough diversity. Well, I guess again, that's my opinion. To my liking, I don't see enough.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And we're just talking about the government, that this government's supposed to represent us, but it doesn't.
Again, it's like backlog. Like, yeah, you might have been representing the people from 1836.
Right.
But not us in 2020.
Right.
Whoa, we're way far
I mean,
apart.
because the public is crying out to you right now, and your response so far, we haven't had any legislation done yet.
$600 extra every week. And that's stopping in July, I heard, by the way. That's scary. That just scares me.
Okay, that legislation, but that was because of the virus. That was needed. You know, we haven't had any legislation as far as this police reform, and there hasn't been any dialogue in addressing racism, systemic racism, because you got certain people in Congress that believes it doesn't exist. So there's the problem right there.
Well,
how can you have the conversation if you don't even believe it exists?
Well, evil exists. That exists. So I guess evil doesn't exist then, right? We'll leave it on that note, I guess. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Oh, shout out to everyone in Nigeria. Nigeria has definitely been holding us down. The whole quarantine, let me tell you, they're about I want to say roughly 35% of our actual listeners is from Nigeria.
Okay. Yeah.
AudioMac. I believe the person who made AudioMac platforms from Nigeria been trying to reach out to AudioMac to get my account verified and possibly do an interview with the founder of AudioMac, but I have not received no response. So if you're listening and you are an avid podcaster and you are listening to our podcast, please reach out to me.
And also shout out to Audio Boom and all the other podcast platforms that
Spotify,
supports
AudioMac,
podcasts.
what are AudioMac, Spotify, iHeart,
Google.
I don't even remember them all. I released two mixtapes. My first mixtape releases since September of last year. I had to retrain myself. I forgot how to do everything over. It was like starting all over again somewhat.
Yeah.
Of uploading on this, doing it this way, that way. And stuff is changing now, let me tell you. You can basically upload anything on YouTube now. Because everyone's allowing monetization. It's like if you're an artist and you're selling your music, you can allow, like, whoever your distribution is, okay, you can let anyone use any of my material as long as I'm getting monetization from it.
Do you see that as a good thing or a bad thing?
I see that as a fantastic thing. It opened YouTube back up to music again. Because if you look at the timeline, for about 4 years, I want to say from like 2014, 4 or 5 years, and then on up, music was being stripped away and taken away off like YouTube altogether because DMCA, a lot of, I guess, battles with that. You remember Spinrilla went through the whole thing with there was a big thing about that, and then now it's balanced out, and I can upload mixtape music now to YouTube and not get flagged.
What motivated you to do these 2 mixtapes?
Well, the one the Life is a Mixtape, the remix one, I work on remixes all the time. The remixes, a lot of them just were sitting around. I did like 1 or 2 during like the time of the quarantine. And then the twerk tape, I just threw that. I was bored one night and just threw that together.
That surprised me. I'm like, I didn't know you were into twerk music.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Nah.
Yeah,
I gotta support the tape because when I say twerk or when you say twerk, are you talking like 2 Live Crew music, like 120 beats per?
Yeah, right. I mean, right around that. The twerk mixtape that I did, that one, and it's 100, right around 100 beats.
Okay.
Everything pretty much around 100.
Okay.
So like your Yin Yang Twins, Whistle While You Twerk, that's right around 100. That type of music.
Okay.
It's like a blend of hip hop, bounce, and like you said, the 2 Live Crew, the Miami
bass sound.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a combo.
I'm looking forward to hearing these, man. I'm definitely forward to. I gotta tell you, honestly, I lost my drive, man, for music. I honestly lost my drive for music. not listening to it, you know.
Creating?
But creating, sitting down, mixing. I've been off now. This is day number 8. I might have been in that room maybe 2 or 3 times.
So you're on official vacation now? Everyone needs that. I felt that's what I needed. I didn't drop and really care for anything from September to now. I needed that, I think.
I just think I'm burnt out. You know, I even have a new track that I was working on that, you know, totally brand new drum beat. I got a bass line. I'm actually doing, you know, programming all my own stuff, and instead of calling in other people, and I've been doing it a long time, bro. And
Are you getting lazy or no?
no, it's
not a lazy feeling?
I just think that I think I'm at a point now where I don't see anything that's motivating me, and there was always something that could motivate me to make, you know, to work on music, to make music. It was always something that would drive me.
Right.
You know, I don't have that now. I feel like I've honestly accomplished about everything I could possibly accomplish, with the exception of working with live musicians. That's the only thing that I haven't done that I would love to do. I would love to, you know, put a bass player in this room, put a drum set in that room, you know, put somebody else, you know, a guitarist and a keyboardist somewhere else.
Maybe if you lost like perception in your music, maybe switch it up. Like when you told me you went back to like, you did a set, you recorded it. I'm like, oh, that's great. Something different. Because I think sometimes we sit down, we get like too studio organized, and we're doing too much of this and not enough of that. Or we're not jumping around.
Even with the new track, I went back to boom bap. You know, that's what I wanted to do, was try something like going back to what first motivated me to do music, was boom bap. And like I said, I love the beat, I love the bass line I did, but you know, I haven't really gone back to that either. Huh. You know, and I actually dreamed the whole thing out. You know, I had it was like and everything.
It was like a week ago. You're so excited for all this, and then all of a sudden,
and it could just be a sign of the times of everything that's going on. You know,
that affects,
because it's draining, and I'm gonna be 54 next month, and I think for me, I just like pulling out an album. Like, you see what I got sticking out right there, Amy Winehouse. I got an Erykah Badu album sitting up on the other stereo.
Jay-Z,
you know, Jay-Z right there. You know, so it's now I just enjoy listening to stuff and picking it apart. Like, ooh, listen to what they did with that bass line, or how, you know, they added an echo right there.
Appreciation,
like
music appreciation.
Yeah. And it's stuff like that moves me now. But I'm hoping I'm in just a funk.
You are. I guarantee you are, because I pretty much was in that from last year. And a lot of working on myself, you know, doing a lot of personal things, I think put me in that. But
because I went too far to get a lot of this equipment cleaned up and working, and you know, these are my master tapes that go into that machine right there, and I couldn't wait to get that thing working. Now I got it working. Now I'm letting this
now it's collecting dust.
So, you know, I'm hoping that, you know,
it'll come.
that I'll just snap out of it.
You will. I guarantee it, because I did. Like I said, I didn't have no really much drive over to, especially over like December, and that's always been, even since I started. Except the first year. I think that's the first year. Do you remember the first year or two you started out? Mm-hmm. Do you say it's like the first year or two, like you really went hard? Mm-hmm. God, the hours and the time.
Practiced every day, and you know, on my DJing, and then after that, working on music.
Couldn't tell no one nothing back then. You were just so stuck on, and now, you know, wow.
I had the worst diet when I was really thick into a lot. Literally for the first 20 years I was doing music, man, I didn't care what I ate. I had to be in front of my MPC. I had to be in front of my DJ equipment. Some days I didn't even eat a meal. You know, I didn't eat a dinner.
Well, let me tell you, being at the club and going eating cheeseburgers at 3 o'clock in the morning catches up to you after a while.
Yeah, I know. I did that a lot in Cali, California, when I was DJing out there. You know, especially when I worked at the Enlisted Men's Club. I would get off of my job, you know, that I did for the military, go to the barracks, shower, get to the club. And if it wasn't a night where the disco section was open, I would partition it off, and I would be back there practicing my routine for that weekend.
Speaking of clubs, the club scene is so jeopardized right now. What a horrible time to be a DJ. Let me
What
tell
a
you that.
horrible time to.
I mean, we made
to
it
own
through.
a club too.
Yeah, we made it through. I mean, doing online stuff, but I know a lot of us want to get back to what we love doing, and that's entertaining crowds. And we're talking some of our venues and the venues around the world hold hundreds of thousands. Like my father, he listens. Studios too, big recording studios. But Tomorrowland, my father, he's into like different music like I am. It's more like rave music. Yeah, I'm saying that right. Yeah, rave music, and Tomorrowland, like it's like this big. Oh my, it's an outdoor thing. I bet there's at least 150,000 people in there, and they're just going crazy, having a good time. How are we getting back to that now?
That's a good question, bro. Like, how we get back
Start
to
small?
big festivals like Coachella?
Yeah.
How do we get back to that? I mean, it's outdoors, so that's a positive. But
How do you tell?
What kind of audience will you have now?
Yeah, and people staying apart. It's just not good. I don't see it happening. It's not gonna. You're not gonna mitigate or do anything and set certain rules and it's just not gonna flow evenly. Let it happen or don't.
There was a conversation about having artists perform somewhere and do a subscription service or whatever. You get to pay, to see the performance through your TV, like a Netflix type of thing, and you can see it live, and you pay, and that would be your ticket to the actual concert.
No, oh my, oh my. Can you imagine if that would become the new norm?
I wish Prince was still here because he had his own performance stage in his home. It's separate from his home, but he had it to where people would come to his home.
Prince would have put on the best venue home performance you ever seen in your life.
Yeah, now I would pay for that, but not every star has something like what he had.
Not every star is a performer like Prince.
That's true. But
yeah, Prince would have threw something together. That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been dope. He definitely would have put something together. But I don't know how we get back, man. It'll happen, but this administration has to take it seriously in the same way the Obama administration took Ebola seriously. SARS disappeared. That's gone. So, until we actually get a vaccine, that's when everything will change.
Well, speaking of gone, I seen you heard of EEE?
Is this that pill that they're saying?
No, this EEE is a new virus that mosquitoes are getting now.
Oh no, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
But I did hear that there's a new COVID 20.
I heard that too.
10 times lethal.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a modified version. I don't know. I'll just stay at that for right now. I'm drawing blank.
Well, that'll do it for us for this episode of the QI Podcast.
Gmail, the QI Podcast at gmail.com. Let us know your opinion.
Twitter.
Facebook, Instagram. We need to start using them more.
You can email us at the QI Podcast at gmail.com.
The QI Podcast.com. That's the forefront. Oh, and YouTube. We're going to have to work on that, your YouTube situation. Yeah. AudioMax, like I said, AudioMax, great. YouTube, yep. We'll have to work on that.
We'll get it.
Yep, but next time you see us will be the anniversary.
Yes, we will be celebrating our first year anniversary. I'm looking forward to that. I already got champagne for us.
Yes, we'll definitely be having a good episode.
So we're going to be toasting it up on the camera. If we can make that live, like Facebook Live, we should do something like that.
Yeah, we'll have to plan something.
Yeah, we'll put something together. But
yep.
Thanks for tuning in. I am your host, DJ 10th Power.
And I'm your host, DJ Duce. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
You're listening to the QI Podcast.